Yo, it's your boy Gabe, this is Fan TV, coming at you with another video. Man, today I want to talk about some guys who I think could be breakout players. I'm going to pick one guy on offense, one guy on defense. Now, I mean, football season, we pretty much here, man. Rookie mini camp, mandatory workouts coming, training camp coming. The schedule is about to come out in the next 48 hours. I think it comes out on Thursday. That's exciting. So why not talk about some breakout players, man? What we expect to see from the Ravens coming up this year. And like I said, one guy on offense, one guy on defense. Now on offense, the most obvious guy is Rashad Bateman. So I'm not going to pick Rashad Bateman. But let's talk about why. Hollywood Brown is gone. Rashad Bateman was drafted in the first round to be a number one type of guy. And like I said, with Hollywood Brown out the building, the targets have to go to somebody at wide receiver. So I feel like that's an obvious one. If you're a Ravens fan, you should be expecting Rashad Bateman to have a really good year and break out this season, right? The guy who I think is the contender for breakout on offense, now you might say this is obvious still, but J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins had a really, really good rookie year, 800 yards, 9 touchdowns on the ground. But the reason I say he's a breakout is because he only had 18 catches not last year, but his rookie season. So obviously we know he missed his whole second year with the torn ACL. But let's talk about the training camp hype, was how good J.K. Dobbins looked, how more explosive he looked. And also how there was talk of using him in a Christian McCaffrey kind of role, which means catching passes, lining up probably outside a little bit, and using him as a mismatch against linebackers and certain safeties who can't cover him. Now, that was taken away in the preseason game when he tore his ACL. But interestingly enough, he tore his ACL on a screen pass. And you got to remember, Ravens, we haven't really been doing a lot of screen passes. So for them to do and try a screen pass in the preseason was kind of giving a little preview of like, we're going to get J.K. Dobbins the ball in his hands, not just running the ball. All right, so now let's talk about reasons for the breakout. I think he's coming back healthy. Main reason number one. Number two, a revamped offensive line. That ain't just good for Lamar Jackson. That's good for the running game too. So now we got a better offensive line in front of J.K. Holes should be better, and we already know he has good vision and he's an explosive back. All he needs to see is the gap and he can go. So I like that. Let's see. He had a whole year to mature as a player. Now obviously you want to be playing, but he got to do a lot of mental reps, man. Get better mentally on the mental side of the game. And I think that's going to help him as a player. Let's see what else we got here for J.K. Now, I know people can say a drawback is J.K. is he's going to be in a rotation, right? I think Gus Edwards is obviously 1B. Tyler Beatty is going to get some run, and the Ravens actually just signed Mike Davis today. But I don't know how much Mike Davis really means in the rotation of this team, because they still have Tyson Williams on the roster, Nate McCurry. They still got a lot of running backs on the roster. I mean, Davis could just be a camp body, training camp guy, preseason, so Gus and J.K. don't have to roll out there and play anything like that. But we'll see how much work he gets. Even in a rotation of backs, I think J.K. is lead dog. He's the most talented guy out of that bunch. And the Ravens are still going to run the ball. Now, are they going to run the ball as much as maybe in the past? I don't think so. But I think we're going to see a pretty much 50-50 split kind of Ravens team. So J.K. is going to get a lot of opportunities, and I think he's going to be used in the pass game quite a bit. So I think that's where the breakout comes from. So now 800 yards in his 800 yards in his rookie year. I think that could easily bump up to 1,100-1,200 yards. You throw in another couple hundred yards receiving, and we're talking about a really, really good season, double-digit touchdowns. So that's kind of where I'm going with J.K. for the breakout. Now on defense, there are two guys that the Ravens need to break out for the team to be successful. I mean, just point blank period. Patrick Queen has to take the next step, right? And Adafe Owe had a good rookie season. I mentioned that in another video, but he has to continue to get better. So those are not the guys that I'm picking for the one guy on defense. But I'm gonna talk about them real quick though. Patrick Queen, we see Patrick Queen play well. We see Patrick Queen play bad. We see Patrick Queen just be okay. We need him to find the consistency of being a good linebacker for all 4 quarters for 17 games. All right. I mean, I'm not asking for perfection every single play, but let's put together some good games back to back weeks, right? He played better last year when he was kind of moved to that will linebacker role. He didn't have to call a defense. He was able to just read and react, with which he did really well at LSU. So maybe with him starting in that position this season, we get a fully focused and a better overall Patrick Queen. You know what I'm saying? So Ravens fans, we want to see PQ play well. And this is year 3. This is a big year for him. You know, pretty soon we're going to be talking about contract stuff for PQ. So this is a big year for him. We got faith in him. We just need to see the consistency because I would love to see him stay at Raven, right? He was a first-round pick. Seems like a good dude. And he's a good, talented football player. We just need to see that consistency. Odafe Owe, he's our guy at edge right now. I mean, I know there's rumors of, well, not even rumors, it's the fact that the Ravens free agent tendered Justin Houston, which I never even heard of until they did that. So I'm assuming he'll be a Raven, but Odafe Owe right now is our guy. So we need him to take that next step. So he had a good, like I said, good rookie year. Just keep building. So I expect a lot from Odafe Owe. But the guy I'm talking about on defense for the breakout player is a guy who didn't play that many games last year. Only played a couple games, got hurt, but he's coming into a second year, and I think we're going to need him to play a big role on the edge, and that's Daylen Hayes, man. I think Daylen Hayes can have a really good season for the Baltimore Ravens, especially because Tyus Bowser and David Ojabo both have Achilles injuries, and both are going to miss at least the first 4 to 6 weeks of the season. So now you got Odafe on one side. Who's playing that other edge? It's really up for grabs. I think Daylen Hayes could be that guy to snatch that role. Obviously, Jalen Ferguson is still here. Dustin Houston, they bring him back. They decide to bring back a Pernell McPhee or something like that. We'll see. But Pernell is not a pass rush guy. But Daylen Hayes has the athleticism and he has the smarts and the tools to really take that next step and be a guy who can really help this team out. Now, when I say break off with Daylen Hayes, I'm not talking about 10, 12 sacks. I'm not talking about that. But be a good player in their rotation for the Ravens. Now, he was drafted, I think, in the 3rd or 4th round, so that'd be good. That'd be great to get in his second year. So we can see Daylen Hayes get anywhere from 4 to 7 sacks this season. I'll be really happy with his progress. And I think that he's a guy that most Ravens fans should get familiar with, man. If you're not already familiar with him, I think he has a great chance to break out. So yeah, I want to talk about some breakout guys that's coming up. I'm excited for the football season. I expect great things from the Ravens, and I think we have a lot of young talent on this team that's going to show the NFL and put the NFL on notice about who the Ravens are, right? So thank you, man. It's your boy, Give It Another Fan TV. I'm out.